touch and being touched. It's of course fundamental to the tantric journey when the tantric journey is about sexuality and sensuality. And let me say that what I mean by Tantra, I really want to make it clear to you. What Tantra means to me does not specifically have to do with sex at all. What Tantra means, and it comes from the Sanskrit origin, is weaving together into a wholeness. The way you would weave the strands of wool or silk together to make a carpet or a rug. And the carpet is then a unified being. And in terms of us as human beings, this is what Tantra means. That everything that you are is woven together into one integrated wholeness. And most people do not live in an integrated wholeness. I only have to look at you, and in your faces I can see where you don't like yourself, you don't like what's happening. I see your attitudes and the places where you're saying no to yourself, no to other people, no to existence. And that no can be to, experiences that are in themselves beautiful. And because of the way that you were brought up and taught and conditioned by your family, all kinds of things about you become not allowed. And that's why I kept saying to you yesterday evening, this is your mantra, am I allowed? Am I allowed? Am I allowed to experience myself being playful? No. Am I allowed to experience myself being wild? No. Am I allowed to experience other people around me getting wild? No. Am I allowed to experience my real desires? Not all of them, no. Am I allowed to experience myself powerful? Am I allowed to experience myself vulnerable, tearful, soft, tender? No. And so it goes on and on and on. Am I allowed to experience myself sexual and turned on? So many conditions. And if you imagine yourself as a house, all these conditions are like the rooms in your house where you are not allowed to go. On the door, there is a no entry sign, and it's locked. You don't go there because your parents told you, you're not allowed. You're not allowed your sex. Hey, you're a boy, you're not allowed to cry. And as long as you have doors in you that are closed with no entry signs on them, you cannot be one integrated whole being. Parts are missing. It's like you've woven a carpet with holes in it. Tantra is about weaving it all together so that you can be whole. Now here's the thing that you really have to understand. To go to one of those doors that has a no entry sign on it where you're not allowed, and to open it and go in there and experience what is in there is going to be scary. Okay, because you're not allowed. You've never been there. You're not supposed to. And all that not allowed is scary. So what do? You shut the door and say, no, I'm not going there. And what do you meet when you shut the door? You meet your attitude. You meet the way you regard life. The way some of you felt being here yesterday evening. Ugh. You go straight into your attitude because you shut the door on what you just saw. Or in the wild part of the meditation this morning, you met your attitude. I'm not going to get wild like that. I don't do that. And your attitude is full, of course, of your judgments. This is ridiculous. This isn't meditation. And so on. All your attitudes and the judgments woven into them. And what are they really about? Just you keeping yourself safe from the places that you're afraid to go. With no recognition that as long as you're not allowed to go there, you can never experience the magic of you in your whole being. And my work is to invite you, encourage you, persuade you, even provoke you, and sometimes even trick you into opening the door and saying hello to what you have not allowed yourself to experience. And you see, the thing I know is that, yes, the first thing you experience is being afraid. And what I know beyond that is if you are willing to say hello to what you're afraid of, by making friends with the experience of being afraid rather than shutting the door on it and jumping into your attitude, then the being afraid changes. The fear turns into excitement. So instead of no, it is, oh no. The difference between being dead scared and very alive scared. And if you allow yourself to live this being afraid instead of, it changes. And you begin to say hello to that which you have been afraid of. And a lot of the time what you've been afraid of is something pleasurable, beautiful, enjoyable. And you make friends with it through making friends with the fear that was stopping you from experiencing it. So in short, my work is to help you to make friends with what is behind the closed doors, so that you don't have to live your life partial, being just parts of yourself, but you can live it being whole, alive and in friendship with all that you really are. That's my work, and it's also the reason you're here, because deep down this is, of course, what we all long for, to be able to celebrate the gift of our whole being rather than just bits and pieces of it. Nobody's going to force you to make friends with what you're afraid of in yourself. It's always your choice. So know it, this is for the whole journey. You never have to. You're always invited to. And it's your choice. You have to see what matters to you. Looking after your conditioned personality and attitudes and judgments, or celebrating yourself fully in the woman you are, in the man you are, in the being you are, and allowing that free child spirit that is in all of us to play freely in your woman, in your man, in your being. You can hear whose side I'm on. Okay? It is so.
This podcast is of Alan Lowen talking in one of his Art of Being workshops. You will find full information about the Art of Being at artofbeing.com.